Hello, welcome to another MobileSec Monday video, and in this video we're going to solve the CrackMe Challenge 1. We're going to take a quick detour from the IG Learner series. We're going to get back to it. I just wanted to switch it up a little bit, and we're going to solve the CrackMe Challenge 1. So you may be wondering, where exactly is the challenge? Well, if you have downloaded the Intro to Android Security Virtual Machine, if you go to the home directory, documents, there's a directory CrackMe APKs, and if you go there, you will see the CrackMe Challenge 1.apk. So I will not install the APK because I already have it installed on my Android x86 emulator, but I have completed another video where I have connected these two virtual machines through ADB or Android Debug Bridge, and then subsequently shown how to install an app from the virtual machine, from our Intro to Android Security virtual machine to our Android x86 emulator virtual machine. So as I said, I'm not going to go through that in this video because I recorded another video that shows the steps to do that. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to click on the circle with the 6 dots, and I'm going to open the CrackMe 1. As you can see, I have all of them installed, but again, this video is just for CrackMe 1. Opening that, and I'm going to make this bigger. We see when you hit the Write File button below, a file will be created within the application sandbox. Your goal is to recover the file and enter the secret string below. So we see we have the challenge, we have a hint. We're not going to click that yet because we really haven't got into the challenge. And then we have an about. So if we click the about, it says Android CrackMe Challenge, apps to be reverse engineered. So that's a hint right there, is we need to reverse engineer this app to retrieve the secret string. So I just want to give a quick shout out to Roki, who created the CrackMe Challenge, and I hope I'm pronouncing his handle correctly. So going back to the challenge, we know we need to reverse engineer this app. So how are we going to do that? Well, that's where the Intro to Android Security virtual machine comes in, because this virtual machine has all of the common tools needed to hack for Android applications. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to Menu, Reverse Engineering. There's a folder that's Reverse Engineering. And here, as you can see, we have a few things: Smalley, Dex to Jar, JADX CLI, which is command line interface, JADX GUI, which is the graphical user interface, JD GUI, and Smalley. I'm going to use the JADX GUI, and what that is going to do is it's going to take, you can use an APK, application package, which is used for Android apps. You can use Dex, Jar, which are Java archives, a class, Smalley, Zip. So these are the supported files, and essentially what we're going to do is we're going to open the app so we can look at the source code, and that will essentially help us to reverse engineer the app. So when you open JADX, you want to make sure you're in the documents, and then remember the CrackMe APKs directory. And then from there, we're going to click on CrackMe Challenge 1. We're going to double click. Now, we are effectively looking at the source code. So we're looking under the hood of this application. Now, we see here, we see the source code, and we see two packages. So Android apps are written in Java. You can have C. You can also have programs in conjunction with Java also written in C, but that's lower level. That's lower level assignments and things of that nature, and we're going to talk about that in another video. So just want to point that out. Now the question is, well, which one of these packages do we start with? Well, if we go back to the about in our Android x86, we see that the programmer is Roki. So if we go back to our intro to Android security virtual machine, we see the second package is COM, Roki, CrackMe, Challenge 1. So let's click on the second package. Now we have activities, adapters, fragments, listeners, build config, and then the C0129R for resources. So for Android apps, an Android app is always going to have a main activity. That activity is the gateway into your application. You can think of activities as a screen in your app. So for instance, this Challenge 1, there's an activity for that because it's represented as a screen. So if we click on the activities package, we see a Challenge 1 activity. So if we double click on this class, and we can see it's a class because it has a C next to it, and I'm going to make this bigger. We are effectively looking at the source code of this application. So we're looking under the hood of this first challenge. So looking at the code, we're just looking, we see an action bar, a challenge page adapter, a view pager. So we see a lot of things, and it's like, okay, where do I go? Like, I'm confused. So with the action bar here, you'll see if we look at lines 38, 39, and 40, we see we have an action bar. We're adding a tab, a new tab, challenge, hint, and about. If you look at the challenge, you see we have a challenge, hint, and about. So it's like, okay, we're on the right page. Now, what I like to do when I'm trying to reverse engineer an app is when I see the new keyword, which means we're creating a new object of a class, I like clicking on that first. Because normally what happens is going to a new object of a class, we get more code, and then as we're drilling down, we'll probably stumble or find the information that we're looking for. So since this is the first new object, challenge page adapter, let's click on that. And as you can see, on line 18, we have a get item method, and we see we have a switch statement of 3 possible cases: the challenge 1 fragment, the hint fragment, and the about fragment. And again, if you look at the app, we have a challenge, a hint, and an about. We already clicked the about. Again, it just tells us, Roki, and the app needs to be reverse engineered. Next, we have the hint fragment. We're not going to click that yet. So let's try the challenge 1 fragment. So if we click on that, okay, now we have more code. And remember, we want to write a file because we're trying to find the secret string. So as we're looking in the code here, on line 36, we see button write file. So it's like, we're on the right track because it's saying, hey, we're looking for a write file button, and that's going to give us, our secret string. So we see the button write file on line 36, and if we look on line 37, we see that this button write file it has a set on click listener. And again, we have a new object. And we can tell that because we see the new keyword and an object, a new class or a new object of a class. So the new object is challenge one fragment on click listener. So if we click that object, okay, and we're looking, and if we go to line 35 here, well, line 31, we see edit text, text guess. So that will correspond to this text box here. That is represented, this text guess is represented by this box here. And if we look on line 35, it's saying, hey, if the text guess or the value we put in this text box, once we get the text, make sure it's a string and make sure it's lowercase. So for instance, if I type my answer in pure uppercase, what this is going to do is it's going to convert my uppercase to lowercase. And it's saying, hey, if all of that equals poorly protected secret, hint, 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 we're going to change the text guess to nebula. We're going to change the color to nebula. We're going to vibrate, and we're going to show what? You've completed this challenge. So let's test it out. We're going to put, okay, that was kind of weird. We're going to type poorly protected secret, and we're going to click the check, and we have successfully completed the challenge. Now what happens if we change, and you notice here that the text has changed to the color nebula. So now let's just say we enter poorly protected secret. Oh, sorry, I meant string. Poorly protected string. You notice, sorry, that's not right, and the font color is now black. So you may be wondering, hey, where does that correspond in the code? Line 41. So remember, it's saying if the text is poorly protected secret, which is the string we're looking for, change the text color to nebula and then show you've completed the challenge. Now it's saying, hey, if you enter any value other than poorly protected secret, change the color to dark, which it did, and display, sorry, that's not right. So if we do that, sorry, that's not right. So I'm showing this to show this is the class that we were looking for. And again, as I said, how I approach this is when I'm trying to reverse engineer is when I see new classes or new objects, I like clicking on those because then it gives me additional code and then I can get a better understanding of the app. Now, takeaways from this challenge. You should never have hard-coded values or secrets in your application, in your app, especially with Android or just iOS in general, but especially with Android. As you can see, it's so easy to look at the source code of an app. You know, with this tool, JADX GUI or JADX CLI for the command line interface, it's so easy to just look at the source code of an Android app and then start reverse engineering or trying to figure out the logic of said app. It took us about 10 minutes to find the poorly protected secret. And you may be wondering, okay, well, this was a fairly easy challenge, but you really don't see that in practice in industry. And honestly, you do. In bug bounties, especially, developers, some developers think, oh, I could put hard-coded values, passwords, secrets, databases in my application because no one is going to reverse engineer it. And again, as I showed you in this video, it is very easy to reverse engineer or look at the source code of an Android app. So, key takeaways: if you have secrets, do not put it in your app. Put it in a vault or a third or a entity to where your application calls that vault or storage and then retrieves it that way. So I hope that you have learned quite a bit in this video, and I can't wait to see you next week for another installment of Mobile Sec Mondays. Have a good day. Bye.